In 1926, in one of the world's wealthiest districts, Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor was born. She commanded the British throne for 70 years, and throughout her reign, Elizabeth became a symbol for some of Britain's most notable legacies: colonialism and complacency. In 1952, Elizabeth ascended to the throne following the death of her father, the last emperor of the British Raj in India and Pakistan. Elizabeth ascended during a moment of reckoning for the British Empire. Her lack of effort to provide comprehensive reparative action to former colonies in Commonwealth nations, such as India, highlights the ongoing legacies of the British Empire that are often swept under the rug. Upon her ascension, Elizabeth became the crown ruler of 7 sovereign states, as well as over 70 territories and colonies, including the colony and protectorate of Kenya, where she was when she received word of her father's death. 4 years into her reign, the British invaded Egypt, attempting to gain control of the Suez Canal. While she supposedly decried her country's involvement, she remained silent to the public, enabling the unsuccessful attempt to gain back British and French control of the canal. This theme of complacency in the face of British terror remained a constant throughout her reign. Throughout the first 30 years of her reign, Elizabeth became an accomplice to the torture of hundreds of thousands of her subjects. Acting in her name, British forces moved throughout nearly a dozen states and terrorized the citizens, with an end goal of continued British dominance. Rather than acknowledging the systemic violence occurring under her name during the mid-20th century, Elizabeth chose to sweep these atrocities under the rug, and it was claimed she knew nothing of the torture happening in the countries she ruled. Elizabeth continued to enable this violence through language that provided a sense of familiar bonds between the nations that were slowly gaining independence from the failed empire. In 1997, as the millennia was drawing to a close, the sun finally set on the British Empire following the independence of Hong Kong, the last British colony. While the world was reconciling with the aftermath of the crumbling British Empire, Elizabeth continued to influence the colonies fleeing her grasp to remain together under the Commonwealth of Nations. Now, as a so-called voluntary organization, 56 nations reside under the Commonwealth, a majority of which are former colonies or sovereign states that were once under Elizabeth's control. Elizabeth's complacency to the systemic violence of her empire was deadly. Though her empire is now gone, the legacy of her reign will continue to impact the way citizens of these now independent states must interact with the world around them, especially after their unique cultures were largely dismantled by British influence.
I mean, speaking as a young person from the country, I can understand why we as the people still hate the British. And you brought your own concept of valor and dignity and civilization. That actually makes me so angry of the white man's burden of making the world civilized, because what defines civilization?
Prachi Singh is a citizen of India. Despite Britain's brief rule of nearly 200 years, she said the ways of life once cherished by the country were completely disrupted, and the country may never recover from British colonialism during her lifetime.
They killed so many of us, and that's just the humans. They destroyed the economy, destroyed the climate, they destroyed the forests, they destroyed the nature, they destroyed the cultural harmony, the love between the citizens. They changed how we interacted with each other. They changed the culture, changed the education system.
While the way forward remains unclear, Prachi believes reparations for India and other countries terrorized by the Crown are long overdue. And even if the United Kingdom actively makes these amends under the new sovereign, she remains unsure her country can fully heal from the impacts of British colonialism pushed by the Crown.
We didn't care about the Queen at all because she didn't do anything. She didn't do anything. She was just there. She didn't matter to us. Everything that the country was before the British and everything that the country is very different, and that cannot be brought back.